Let's talk about yeast. An ingredient found in almost every kitchen, yet one that's often shrouded in mystery and misconception. You might have seen it in little packets or jars, sitting quietly among your baking supplies, but have you ever wondered what it really is, or why it's so essential to so many recipes? Yeast isn't a chemical leavener like baking powder, nor is it a spice or flavoring. It's actually alive, a living organism that plays a crucial role in transforming simple ingredients into something extraordinary. Those tiny tan granules you pour into your dough are actually billions of single-celled fungi, known scientifically as Saccharomyces cerevisiae. The name literally means sugar fungus in Latin. And that's exactly what yeast loves: sugar. Yeast is a microscopic cousin to mushrooms and truffles. While those fungi grow large and visible, yeast is just one cell, so small you'd need a microscope to see it. Yet, despite its size, it's incredibly powerful. When you open a packet of yeast, you're holding a dormant army, billions of tiny organisms, each waiting for the right conditions to spring to life. All they need is a little water and a source of food, like sugar or flour, and they'll get to work. Genetically, yeast is surprisingly close to us. About 23% of its genes have direct counterparts in humans, which means we share a remarkable amount of biological machinery with this humble fungus. This similarity is one reason why yeast is so valuable in scientific research, especially in genetics and medicine. Scientists use yeast to study everything from how cells divide to how certain diseases develop. But we'll dive deeper into yeast's scientific superpowers a bit later. For now, just remember, yeast is a living, single-celled fungus. It's not a plant, and it's definitely not a bacterium. It belongs to its own unique kingdom in the tree of life. Its mission in life is simple but vital: find sugar, consume it, and multiply. As it eats, it produces carbon dioxide and alcohol, which are the magical byproducts that make bread rise and beer bubble. This simple drive is what humans have harnessed for thousands of years, turning basic grains into fluffy loaves of bread and transforming sweet liquids into beer and wine. Without yeast, many of our favorite foods and drinks simply wouldn't exist. So the next time you bake, remember that yeast is more than just an ingredient. It's a living partner in your kitchen. Treat it well, give it what it needs, and it will reward you with delicious results. Respect the fungus. It's the secret behind your favorite foods, and a tiny marvel that connects the worlds of science, baking, and everyday life. Our partnership with yeast is ancient, one of humanity's oldest and most fascinating relationships. For thousands of years, this tiny organism has quietly shaped the course of civilization, transforming the way we eat, drink, and even gather together. 7,000 years ago, people in China discovered that wild yeast floating in the air could turn simple rice into delicious, intoxicating drinks. These early fermented beverages were more than just refreshments. They became part of rituals, celebrations, and daily life, connecting communities through shared tradition. Early humans didn't know how to cultivate yeast directly. Instead, they learned to create the right conditions, leaving dough or fruit exposed to the air, and marveled at the magical transformation that followed. The results were mysterious, yet delicious: bread that rose, drinks that sparkled and frothed. The Egyptians took this knowledge further, mastering the art of using yeast to bake fluffy, leavened bread and brew beer. By saving a bit of old dough, a primitive sourdough starter, they could reliably recreate these wonders, passing the secret from one generation to the next. For millennia, the true nature of yeast remained a mystery. People believed that spirits or magical forces were at work, and yeast's effects were woven into myths and legends. Bakers and brewers guarded their methods, treating them as precious secrets. In 1680, Dutch scientist Antony van Leeuwenhoek peered through his handmade microscope and became the first person to see yeast cells. Yet, even then, no one understood what these tiny creatures actually did, or how essential they were to the process. The real breakthrough came in 1857, when Louis Pasteur, a brilliant French scientist, proved that yeast was responsible for fermentation. He showed that it wasn't just a mysterious chemical reaction, but a living process driven by microscopic life. Pasteur's discovery revolutionized science, launching the field of microbiology and saving entire industries from collapse. Suddenly, Brewers, bakers, and winemakers could control and improve their craft with newfound confidence. At last, yeast had a name, a face, and a scientific explanation. What was once shrouded in mystery became a cornerstone of modern food and drink. Our invisible partner was revealed at last, an ancient ally still working its magic in kitchens and breweries around the world today. So, how does yeast turn dense dough into airy bread? The answer is fermentation, a fascinating process that's been used for thousands of years. Yeast, a tiny single-celled fungus, is the unsung hero behind every loaf of bread. But what exactly happens when you add it to your dough? When mixed into dough, yeast feasts on sugars broken down from flour starches. These sugars are its food, and as the yeast consumes them, it begins to work its magic, transforming the dough from a heavy mass into something light and full of life. As it eats, yeast produces two main byproducts: ethanol, alcohol, and carbon dioxide, CO2. This process is called alcoholic fermentation, and it's the same basic reaction that makes beer and wine. But in bread, it's all about the bubbles. The alcohol mostly evaporates during baking, but the CO2 is crucial. It forms bubbles throughout the dough. These bubbles are what make bread rise, giving it that soft, airy texture we all love. Gluten, developed by kneading, creates a stretchy web that traps these bubbles. Without gluten, the gas would simply escape, and the dough wouldn't rise. The more you knead, the stronger this network becomes, allowing the dough to stretch and expand. As yeast produces more gas, the dough inflates and rises, sometimes doubling or even tripling in size. This transformation is slow and steady, but it's essential for developing both flavor and texture in the final loaf. This is proofing, a living ecosystem at work, where yeast, flour, and water interact in a delicate balance. The dough becomes alive, filled with millions of tiny bubbles and a complex web of gluten. The yeast provides lift, gluten provides structure, and together they create the perfect environment for bread to rise. Every step, from mixing to shaping, helps build this partnership. When your bread doubles in size, it's thanks to billions of yeast cells exhaling CO2. Each cell is working tirelessly, turning simple ingredients into something extraordinary. It's not just dough rising, it's biology and physics in perfect harmony. The science behind bread is as beautiful as the art of baking itself. That's the secret behind every fluffy loaf. The next time you enjoy a slice of bread, remember the invisible world of yeast that made it possible. Bread is a living collaboration, a testament to the power of nature, science, and a little bit of patience. Why does slow-fermented bread taste so much better than quick-rise loaves? It's all about time. Fast fermentation makes dough rise quickly, but you lose out on flavor. Slow, cool fermentation lets yeast create hundreds of flavorful compounds, esters, phenols, and more. These tiny molecules add depth, aroma, and complexity to bread. Enzymes also break down more starches and proteins, improving texture and browning. Artisan bakeries use long, cold fermentation for this reason, sometimes up to 72 hours. The result? Better flavor, texture, shelf life, and digestibility. In bread making, patience is your best ingredient. Give yeast time, and it will reward you with extraordinary bread. Where does commercial yeast come from? It starts in a strain bank, where pure cultures are frozen at 80-degree Celsius. A tiny sample is revived in nutrient broth, then scaled up through larger and larger vessels. Eventually, it seeds massive fermentation tanks, several stories high. Here, yeast is fed molasses, and crucially, lots of oxygen. With oxygen, yeast focuses on multiplying, not making alcohol. After about 16 hours, the tank is full of yeast cream, trillions of cells. This cream is centrifuged, filtered, and dried into the granules or blocks we buy. The finished yeast is packaged and shipped worldwide. Modern yeast is a marvel of industrial biology. Not all yeast is the same. Think of them like different breeds of dogs. Baker's yeast is bred for speed, producing CO2 quickly to leaven bread. It's reliable, consistent, and focused on performance, not flavor. Brewer's yeast is all about flavor and alcohol tolerance. Ale yeasts create fruity notes at warm temperatures. Lager yeasts work cold for a crisp taste. Brewers choose strains for the unique character they bring to beer. Winemakers use specialized yeast too, some wild, some cultured for specific grapes or fermentation conditions. Some strains enhance fruitiness, others work at low temperatures, and some even outcompete wild yeasts. Each yeast strain is a tool, carefully selected for its job. The right yeast makes all the difference in bread, beer, or wine. Yeast diversity is the secret to our favorite flavors. How does yeast multiply? Through budding, a form of asexual reproduction. A parent cell forms a bud, copies its DNA, and the bud grows until it splits off as a new cell. Under ideal conditions, a yeast cell can bud every 90 minutes. That's how a few million cells in a teaspoon become billions in a rising loaf. Each parent cell can produce 20-30 daughters before it ages out. This rapid, exponential growth lets yeast quickly dominate dough or fermenting juice. While yeast can reproduce sexually under stress, budding is its main method. This efficiency is why yeast is so powerful in baking and brewing. Yeast isn't just for bread and beer, it's a scientific superstar. Saccharomyces cerevisiae is a model organism used to study biology that applies to humans. It's a eukaryote like us, but simple, cheap, and fast-growing. In 1996, yeast became the first eukaryote to have its genome fully sequenced. Many yeast genes are nearly identical to ours, so scientists use yeast to study cell division, DNA repair, and metabolism. Yeast is a biological factory. It produces insulin for diabetics and vaccines like hepatitis B. It's used to screen drugs, study aging, and understand disease. By learning from yeast, we fight cancer and metabolic disorders. This humble fungus is a cornerstone of modern medicine and genetics. Yeast's impact goes far beyond the kitchen. From ancient bread to modern medicine, yeast has shaped our world. It's a simple organism with a profound impact, giving us bread, beer, and even life-saving drugs. We've harnessed its power in kitchens and laboratories alike. Specialized strains have been bred for baking, brewing, and winemaking. As a model organism, yeast helps us unlock the secrets of genetics and disease. So next time you enjoy a loaf of bread, remember the tiny fungus behind it all. Yeast is more than an ingredient, it's a partner in our progress. Our invisible ally, Saccharomyces cerevisiae, continues to shape our future.